All right, all right, all right. Another happy day. It's Saturday morning, 1:25 a.m. I just got out of work, and all right. So in the background, y'all gonna hear the Netflix I'm watching, and this Netflix that I'm watching is called The Confession Tape. I don't know if y'all seen it or heard about it, but it's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
I was dead wrong.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Glenn Sebastian Burns, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree. We, the jury, find the defendant, Atif Ahmed Rafay, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
In the end, despite the tight alibis, the lack of physical or forensic evidence, the jury convicted them, and they convicted them for one reason only, and that's because of their confessions.
Any reaction, Mr. Burns? Back off. Back off. Give us some room. Thank you.
Found guilty on 3 counts of homicide. And then we were there for the sentencing.
Mr. Burns, I'm obligated at this point to stop and give you an opportunity to make a statement before I sentence you. If there's something you want to say, I will certainly consider it. Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Your Honor. My friend and I have been convicted for a crime we did not commit. There's 2 things I want to discuss this morning, possibly. First is a few reasons why I think our trial is unfair with respect. I was hoping to make some comments about the evidence. We were unable to tell this jury what other suspects knew what the murder weapon was before anybody else did. We were prosecuted with a tactic that would not be legal in this country. We were not able to present evidence to answer the state's case. I was not allowed to give critical testimony that I needed to give to explain this evidence. We were defending ourselves in this trial with both arms tied behind our backs.
Burns stood up and said that his 2 Ivy League educated lawyers didn't handle his case properly, that they didn't give him effective assistance of counsel. You know, I think most people who understand what the word hubris means, they ought to put his picture in the dictionary.
Certainly feel sorry for the victims. I feel sorry for their surviving son. I feel sorry for their surviving family. We didn't commit the crime. We've been found guilty based on the continuing representations of the state and the news media. It seems that the principal other piece of evidence against us is arrogance, our arrogant personalities. The newspaper stories first started to appear about us when I was 18, back in 1994. My stomach would go into knots whenever a story would come out. I would be inconsolable for the rest of the day. The way that I got over that was to become cynical, to act tough. And it's the same way I got over not being able to go to school, or work, or have public life. Chief and I have been convicted for a crime we didn't commit. For what we sentenced for a crime we didn't commit. Unless somebody does something to stop it. Your Honor, that's all I have to say.
Sebastian's statements actually were quite articulate, but for people who were just there for the show and hadn't followed the case, it was written as deranged rambling. But it wasn't. It was the thoughts expressed perhaps not as articulated. But when you spent 7 or 8 years in various forms of incarceration, you didn't perhaps have the best critical audience.
Burns, you're given ample opportunity to make your elocution. It's chilling, your recitation. What you feel has occurred over these many years. It's chilling in the lack of remorse that you show for these victims. I mean, it was virtually a throwaway line that I suspect your attorney suggested to you after the break. But in any event, you got to talk, Mr. Burns. Now I get to talk, okay? You're not immoral. You're amoral. You have no moral rudder whatsoever. You are an arrogant, convicted killer. You are not a kid, as you so often refer to yourself. You're an adult, and you will be held responsible as an adult. You were convicted, Mr. Burns, based on your own chilling, casual confession.
That's quality armor.
Thank you so much.
It is therefore the conclusion of this court that you should be sentenced on count 1, on count 2, and on count 3 to life without possibility of parole. Those 3 sentences to run consecutive. Shall we proceed with Mr. Raffet?
I want to thank Your Honor for the opportunity of speaking. Today is a day of anguish for me. It's not the first. I want to insist today on the truth that we are innocent.
We could use your help.
I love my parents. I revere their memory to this day. I can't convey to you the mortification that I felt over the course of this trial, the lie that we've told, the masks that we put on, the masks that we put on to survive a situation, an appalling, atrocious situation that was constructed to entice us and elicit from us those very lies in that mask. I'm tormented by the thought that I have been manipulated somehow into contributing to the fact that my parents' killers to this day walk with impunity, that their murders have never been properly investigated. The loss of my parents devastated me, left me utterly bereft. I didn't know how to reconstruct my life in the weeks and months that followed. When I say I loved my parents, I don't mean that I felt merely the feeling of every child. I mean that I truly admired his sincere pleasure in every opportunity that I was probably closer to my mother than to any other person that I have worked with. And the memory of her wit and her charm and her keen human sympathy, they're dear to me to this day. And they'll be vivid to everyone who knew her, including some of my friends. I consider having my family the greatest of privileges. They're with me in my memory today. I'm going to continue to struggle for the truth in this case of our innocence, because I won't betray their hopes for me.
Looking forward to seeing her on the weekends. We always are able to share things like reading Shakespeare together in the visiting room or working on some issue together. It changes the whole way in which I think about time and think about what I'm doing. It's a very strange thing to fall in love and have this beautiful experience happen in prison while you're going through something like this. I had been used to my parents taking care of me and taking care of things in the responsible adult world. I thought that this was one of those things that would just be taken care of. I should have been an adult about it. Justice will not happen just because you're innocent.
I love my country. But these police officers, they killed me. They mind raped me and made me believe I killed someone else. People look you right in the eye and lie to you and destroy you and do it on purpose.
As a television reporter on the scene, I've asked the question many times, did you do it? And this was the first time that somebody actually said yes. Tell me more about what Thursday, Myers and Strangle caught 4 setting fires to the mill early Thursday morning. I have played that night, that moment, the questions that I asked over and over in my own head.
He says he's sorry and he didn't mean to do it.
I have no idea what kind of pressure and what kind of questions need to be put upon someone in order to go from, no, I really didn't do it, to, okay, yes, I did.
The police didn't do it. It's all set.
You don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. You don't know what he said.
I love you very much. And I'm very sorry for everything they've done.
Usually if somebody says, I did it, you take them at their word. But things aren't always as they seem.
My Warframe is strong.
The other audio you're hearing is from Netflix, a documentary called The Confession Tape.
We just used to play in the creeks and fish down in the pond. His mother and father is just as much of a mother and father.
I think he was like 10 years old when I met him the first time. His mother and I worked in Charleston County. I was the music teacher and she was the art teacher. He wandered over into my room and brought his guitar and sat down and played a song for me that he had written and sang.
Grew up, I had a great family. Then I was married, and my wife, she was pregnant. And the child was born. About 3 months after that, my wife, well, she had not seen nothing before. Went to the doctor, and I knew as soon as I walked in there and the look on his face that it was cancer. She had AML. It destroyed her. Before she died, she actually told me to go find somebody. And we separated. I met Teresa Hatfield, the mom ran. We danced. I've been told I look pretty good on the dance floor. And we started
Continue
seeing
to
each other.
defend. You will be rewarded for your bravery.
Everybody drank back then. It was a different time. I smoked pot, drank like fish, and all that other kind of thing. And there was occasionally a little cocaine around. There's always a love and hate relationship with Teresa and Wes. You know, whether we were mad on Wednesday, they were great on Friday, and they always ended up back together for whatever reason. Love is like that.
I tried to get him. I didn't like any people that hung out there in that area. Part of North Charleston. Like him across. They were the lower lights. Hanging around that crowd, as far as drinking and just partying and just that lifestyle they had.
I drank a lot. Everybody drank a lot. I normally drank until I was blackout.
I I've never seen him actually punch her or hit her. I have seen probably Teresa be the more of an aggressor on some occasions, trying to get something back from Wesley or something along those lines. They love to hate each other. That's the way I can put it.
She was pretty tough girl. And she would fight man or woman, it didn't matter. Especially if she didn't win.
It was a road to nowhere. I didn't want to see it go down. Fine.
I was at my mom and dad. Ice skating. I watched a little bit of it and I went to bed because I had to work.
There's heavy smoke and fire coming from the front of the structure. And we went in, we hit the hot spots. There was a lot of flame, a lot of smoke. We couldn't see. I happened to notice something laying on the floor. The first one I seen it, I thought it was a mannequin, and I had to take a look. And that's when I realized that it was a human body. And I called the battalion chief on the radio and notified him that I had a victim inside that was deceased.
I was heading to Texas to go to work. She slept in the bar quite often, so I was going to go by, like I normally did, check on Teresa and that. Parked my truck, got out, met by a fireman, and I asked what was going on, and he told me there'd been a fire, and I asked about Teresa.
He said, well, that's my girlfriend's car sitting there. And I walked over and told the arsonist that this man walked up and stated that that was his girlfriend's car.
He said, well, there's a body in there, but we don't know who it is because it's been burned. And do you have any pictures of it? And I did in my glove box. So I run to the truck and got a picture and took it in. And they informed me it was true. And I started crying.
That's the last of them. Objective is secure. Let's go home.
Alright, max rank on my Zephyr. So now it's going to be another new Warframe along with all the weapons regrinding again at the same area.
That's no problem. I didn't do it.
I like to get out of the office. I like to see where it happened. I like to see the people, the place, take pictures.
Checking on my foundry.
And so I don't hesitate putting on blue jeans and going out and knocking on doors and talking to people and seeing for myself. It was obviously a very serious case. His girlfriend had been murdered with a wine craft, and the police collected a number of things from the scene. One of the things they collected was the hair purportedly found
Zephyr Prime is next, which is the same thing, but just the legendary version of the Zephyr.
Under or near Teresa's body. There was a bloody
with a little bit more stats to it, you know what I mean? Like a little bit more armor, more health, the duration of the ability, yada yada, you know what I mean? Just a little bit more extra adding of the upgrades.
That afternoon, I went to Shores, and everybody was talking about what happened, who done it, what's going on. I had a few drinks, and Paul attached himself to me.
Well, I was coming home from work, and there was everybody at Shores, and he was emotional. He had a picture of Teresa, and he was talking about wanting to be with her, just how much he missed her and all that kind of thing. And at the time, I'd had some friends that had committed suicide things, and I was very concerned for Wesley. That particular night, everybody knew what had happened.
You begin
as soon as he walked in, everybody, come in. So I think he wanted to go to a place that wasn't known.
And he said, let's go find another place to drink. Well, I knew that the Joker was open, so we went to the Joker. It's a strip joint.
At that time of night, that's all that's left is open, more or less, especially down Dorchester and all that kind of road back then. It wasn't like he was up there dancing with the girls and sticking dollars in their drawers and nothing. We just sat down at a table with a cold beer, and, we ended up back at Teresa's house a couple blocks from the bar, and he went upstairs to her room, and I stayed downstairs and slept on the stairs, because that way he couldn't step over me and get out the house without waking me up or something.
That next morning, I went home, and my dad said, the police been calling for you. They need you at the station. Then I went down there, and they asked if I had a problem taking a lie detector test. And I said no. I told them I would do anything to help them get this solved. Well, they got me back in the back room, and they started asking me questions.
Okay. In the last 24 hours, how much alcohol have you had in your body? Probably takes for about it. When you say taste, how many do you possibly take? 3. In most domestic type murders, the husband's always the first one to be dragged in. Oh, well that's not true. Nobody likes to ask people these questions. This is why I just told you to do what I did. Okay? And I gotta ask you.
Gonna give it an all, you know what, maybe like a Sub-Zero type color, blue and black, or let's go with a scorpion color, yellow and black.
But I won't be able to clear you. No. Okay. Is there any physical evidence that you know of that he was in possession of that would tie you to where he was found? No. None at all. Okay. Did you kill her and not mean to? I did not kill Teresa. Did you get in a fight with her? No, I did not. Okay.
Eliminating me is what they kept telling me. The boyfriend's always, or the husband is a suspect. But they said, we do this, we can move on and get the real murder. And I believed them.
When was the last time that you saw her alive? 3:30, and I left her about 15 minutes later at the bar. Okay. Now I want you to honestly think for a minute. And think about who could have seen wherever you were. So I did not see Teresa again. I talked to her on the phone at 4 o'clock, my son and I did. I never seen her anymore after that. 4 o'clock in the afternoon? No, it was like 3:45. I think my son was at home at 4. Okay. And I did not see her again.
They threw different scenarios at me.
We both know, Rusty, and let's be honest with each other, the people that generally get the most pissed off in all the world are people who love. They're the ones who push the buttons, okay? I've been married 20 years, and I'm done what? I didn't really thought about divorce, but I actually thought about killing. And the thing is, we've all been angry to the point of wanting to just choke the living snot out of a life.
He said it's okay for men to push women, and told Wes that it was all right for a man to get in a rage and react and do something that he wouldn't normally do.
having been there myself and knowing and dealing with cops who are there and dealing with a lot of domestic disputes in the past, if you had gotten an argument with her, and you ended up hitting her, or she ended up hitting you, or scratching
A fearsome appearance, Operator. You will strike terror in your enemies.
And us having that physical evidence, and then you lying about either a fight or some part of that, is going to make it unbelievably hard to clear you. Even if you are actually innocent of the deed itself. Okay?
I was thinking I was helping them because that's what they assured me of, and I was ignorant.
Now, they tell me that they have found a hair. Is there any way that hair could be reversed? No way that the hair could be No way. I wasn't there. What if the hair was there? I freaked. I was freaked out. Okay. I mean, how would you explain it? I couldn't explain it. My hair isn't guilty, was it? Nothing. I'm not guilty. I just tried.
I didn't know I was being filmed, and come to find out they were taping it all and seeing how I was reacting.
That black and white videotape was...
Alright, that's pretty cool right there, kind of like Bumblebee. Alright.
Camera. That's not a comforting thought.
Let me tell you where we're at. I'll explain to them that we're always in a hurry in law enforcement.
Gonna give it a rifle.
You haven't had any sleeping.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try this Google gun here.
To be given a lie detector test.
Upgrade. I'm gonna
right now. It's obvious. See here, magazine. If I hit you up right now for this thing, you're gonna have real flat reaction.
And they said that they'd talk to me in the morning.
Everything he said through that whole supposed polygraph pretest laid the foundation for his subsequent, very intense interrogation.
The next morning, Denver Clayton come pick me up, and then we went on down to North Charleston Police Department. I was in an examining room, I reckon. They were talking with me and discussing the facts of what they thought had happened. They had done told me numerous times, whoever's hair this is, the hair is going to prove who killed him. God put that hair there for us to solve this murder. Melvin Cumbie received a phone call and left the room and come back. He said, the worst has happened. He said, Wes, the hair come back yours. And I can even tell you what part of the head it came from. It was a match. I said, there's no way. He said, you done?
Wasn't anybody on the phone. Joe Powell, the analyst, didn't even work that day.
I couldn't believe it. And I was questioning myself. It got real intense. They told me that I'd blacked out. They said, that's why you can't remember it. But the evidence proves you done it, Wes. We got a hair that matches you. And he kept saying that. I mean, this didn't just go on for 30 minutes. This went on for hours. You need to apologize. I told you God would put the hair in, and whoever it was, you're in denial. I mean, it's just steady, and there's three of them. And then they come back in with, we got an eyewitness.
Now get out there and collect down and make the list.
Then they come back in with, oh, we've got bloody print. And that it was on my clothes, in my truck. He said, we've got you. But if you confess, they'll go lighter on you. I said, I don't remember none of this. You most likely blacked all this out. That's why you can't remember it. Everything then, I was in a haze. They were throwing pictures down in front of me.
I'm gonna wait for a few minutes.
Burned body, beaten face, brutalized, swole up awfully. And telling me I needed to apologize to her.
Actually, that was like a few seconds right there.
You might not think you done it, but you done it.
There's going to be more that's going to join.
And I'd gotten kind of angry, and I said, well, if y'all got all that, I must have done it. And they jumped up like a bunch of cheerleaders and said, we got it.
As the police reported, I guess
Our position
I'll
has
remember
been
this forever. I
compromised.
guess I must
Defend
have
the
did
cargo
it
until
then.
reinforcements arrive.
They brought Reese's mother, Dixie, down there to talk to me. Told me I needed to apologize to her, and at that point I would have done whatever they wanted.
When she was gone and he didn't call me to let me know or come to the house to be with us, then I knew something was not right. The police called me and said that he wanted to see me. Would I go see him? So they set it up. I said, yeah, I would go see him. I wanted to look at him and I wanted him to tell me, as close as we're sitting, he told me face to face that he did it. And he was sorry that he did it. And he didn't, in his words, he didn't know why he did it. He loved her.
I can't actually recall. I know I said I'm sorry. For that. They'd written up a confession, and they read it to me. It was their handwriting. At that point, I was numb. Everything just seemed to be distant. And I signed the confession. They'd done convinced me that I'd done it. They said, now, news media is out back, and you need to apologize to the world. They walked me down these stairs. I remember watching the two officers in front of me, and they said, we gotta get all gussied up for the cameras. And then they opened their doors, and it was nothing but bright light.
North Charleston police say they suspected Wesley Myers all along. And Leon told he will face a judge tomorrow morning.
I grew up in a television household. My father ran radio and television stations. I said, oh, good Lord, I want to be in the newsroom. This is where things happen. This is where things are exciting. I want to just do this. I was at work, and Mel Cumbie called at the station and said, hey, you know, we've got an arrest in that murder in North Charleston. We've got the guy here. We're going to walk him. We think he's probably going to make a statement. You might want to get up here. They walk Wes Myers out of their holding area, and I thought, hey, I thought they said he was going to make a statement. He didn't say anything, so I might as well shout out a question. Feeling remorse about what happened?
I want to apologize for what I've done. I've committed a crime that I can't take back. I love Teresa very much.
I was absolutely stunned. I said, oh my goodness, this man just confessed on camera.
How many times did you check?
I'm not sure.
Myers, who said he was not under the influence at the time of the crime, was picked up again this morning.
It looked like Wes was just in a daze, almost as if
Let's
he'd
go on the
been
offensive.
drugged. And they presented it as 3 confessions.
One, they got him to sign a statement. Number 2, they brought the victim's mother, Dixie, there and suggested he apologized and confessed to her. The third might be characterized as what happened during the probe. It's horrible. It's certainly doing very little to protect a accused and presumed innocent person's right to a fair trial. It's just bad. It's bad, and it shouldn't have been done.
I believed he was innocent until I saw him on the news. You're going to confess to something that's so horrible, you know, set this woman on fire, you know, and you didn't do it? No way. No way.
Well,
fighting.
Looks like a
Another
duck, quacks like a
opportunity
duck,
to
chances
extract
are it's a
more
duck.
soon.
Tonight, police have charged Leslie Myers with murder and third-degree arson. He's currently sitting in the Charleston County Jail. He says he's sorry and he didn't mean to do it. Tomorrow, Leslie Myers will have his chance to tell it to the judge.
You know, there are many people who say, well, I would never confess to something that I didn't do. That's not true. Almost anybody can under the right circumstances. Les was interrogated for between 15 and 20 hours over a 3-day period. They plotted this out, that they were going to bring him back in, that they were going to lie to him about the results of the testing, tell him that this hair had been conclusively determined that was found in Teresa's hand to be his, all for the purpose of trying to, get him to make a statement.
So it's hard to find him on people that trust him. And they feel that trust in him. I can admit to place the pressure on the person, so that person will put themselves under if they have a topic of law.
Police had so sort of broken West down by the time that he confessed, by the time they lied to him about the hair, that at that moment, he in fact may have even actually believed himself that he did it.
If you're just a person, motherfucker, and we got the conscience of the wall, okay? And you say that, absolutely or not, okay? If you aren't that first individual, okay? You right now are seriously doing that. Whether you say it or not, you are seriously doing that.
Law enforcement believed that their job was over. They thought, okay, we've got our man, and we're just going to let the system play out. And I think what they didn't do was continue to do the type of work that you would hope that law enforcement would do in these situations, which would continue to follow credible leads.
It wasn't, say, a situation where no other person could have had access. She was in a bar that was pretty much a public club. It was in an area where people hung out late at night. It was rough. And rough people came in there and went out of it.
Let me ask you, who do you think could have done the thing?
Dana was the primary suspect, at least in the minds of the defense, in the case because he was seen in the limb at night, proxy to the departure of the two bartender SAs, and acting weird and lots for Teresa. He was arrested by the police as kind of a suspect in the case. There were a lot of things pointing to him. He's extremely reluctant to even talk to them. Bingo. This is it.
We're done here. The extraction team will take
I
over.
wonder why. Oh,
To evacuate.
round 10, I guess, or wave 10.
What for? About Wes Myers' case.
Wow, all three of my weapons already ranked 15. All right, 15 more ranks to go to get a max. So max rank for your Warframe and all your weapons is rank 30. Let me see.
Dana was seen outside the bar the night of the incident. He tried to force his way in. Then when he was interviewed, he initially denied being there at all. And he had also altered his appearance. He had shaved some of his face.
All right, same thing again, over and over and over till it's level 30.
He was arrested by the police near the scene in a car, and he was charged with unlawful possession of a firearm. and there was
I think
some
Ralph
in the car.
There was a watch
gotta ask if the group want to go
similar
with
to that
20
was in his
years.
truck.
Yeah.
Also, probably even more, to me, more shocking than that was they initially took some of his blood and had it available for DNA testing and never developed a DNA profile on it. So that's lost now, and so we can't compare any DNA evidence which might have existed on the dollar bill or the hair to his DNA profile.
I don't think that, let's just be as fair as possible, that appropriate measures were taken to exclude him as being involved in the murder. Every criminal defense case is an uphill climb because the state has the edge, they have the burden of proof, but they have an edge, the pointing finger of accusation.
It was a little nerve-wracking to know that I was being selected for a murder trial. We were given the video in the police station. We also used the newscaster's video, and then we were also given the written confession. It had the dollar bill with blood on it.
Enemies, like my pistol.
Determined if it was blood. It
What's that damn?
commingled with Teresa's blood.
Whatever.
They had the hair they found in her hand.
The forensic science that applied was a microscopic hair comparison between an unknown sample and a known sample that would lead someone to say it is similar to, or I can't say that it isn't. Phraseology that just stayed away from the term match. Now at that time, we kind of looked at each other and said, like, for a case that's a confession, it's going to be bad. Because at that point, the confession was the only thing that put him in. So we went to court the next day, and then all of a sudden, the solicitor comes over, Bruce, and says, I've got something to tell you about. I said, okay. And I said, you've got to be kidding.
I do remember the last minute witness. If I can shut up the courtroom for a minute.
I was there the night of the murder, just before it happened. I ran into one of the bartenders that worked here, Tammy, and she told me that Wesley was on trial at that time and that he was about to get off because he's saying he wasn't there. And I told her, well, I know he was there. I was there. She said, well, you need to call the prosecutor. So I did. And the next morning, they picked me up and they took me down to the
opportunity to
courthouse.
extract will appear soon.
And there she was in court the next day. I raised hell with the judge about it, but my efforts to have her excluded from testifying did not work.
Well, I remember that night very well. It was March 13th. It was my brother's birthday. We were out partying at a club on Dorchester Road, and I was getting close to running out of money, and he didn't have any at all. So I thought about Teresa and her coming over and letting me come over and cash a check since she was still there. When I arrived, I had to knock on the door because the place was closed. And Wesley opened the door and let me in. She gave me half the money for the check and told me she'd give me the rest on Friday. And I noticed that she was crying because her makeup was completely just running down her face. So I knew she was upset, and I asked her if she needed me to stay there with her for a while. And she told me, no, it's just Wesley. I can handle him. I've been doing it for years. You know, go ahead and do what you're going to do. And I left. He locked the door behind me.
The strongest thing on short notice that I could come up with to impeach her credibility before the jury was this. Simple, what we call cornering in cross-examination. You know this occurred almost 2 years ago. And I'm sure that you saw it in the press, either television coverage or the newspaper. Yes. And so I would imagine that being the case, and considering your testimony here today, that you immediately picked up the phone and called the police or went down to the police station and said, you know what, that guy was in the bar. No, I didn't do that. And so at any time since that almost 4 years ago event, you in the bar, have you mentioned to any other person? So the first time that came to mind was last night when you're in a bar and a friend of the victims is telling you she's worried that the case is going down the tubes. Then you move forward and told her. Is that correct? Yes. So, pull it out of your back pocket. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Lori has a record along the door. What had actually happened, she'd come by that Monday to get a check cashed, and I told Teresa I wouldn't give her all the money for it because it may be a bad check. And she didn't. And Lori got a little hostile about it.
I never did anything. I never went to the police or... I assumed since the man confessed, he was just going to prison from there. And apparently he confessed on CNN and the whole world saw it. So why would... I never thought there would be a trial. I thought you confessed to going to prison. It's, isn't that the way it works in America?
I guess she seemed credible at the time, relatively. And I do recall that did play into our decision, when we deliberated.
To be accused is not supposed to shift the burden of proof to you. Everyone under the Constitution is presumed innocent. Reality?
Based on the little bit of evidence that we had, the hair could have been his. We found him guilty.
Wesley admitted what he did. He was tried. He was found guilty. I thought they did their job. They did what they were supposed to do.
We just felt that no one would confess 3 times if they didn't do it.
I'm gonna tell you something. When you go to prison, the little things that mean something to you, like the sound of a creek.
Continue to defend.
All right, cool.
Rewarded for your bravery.
I miss fishing, the outdoors, the woods. I lived in them. I love it. Quiet. They took that love away from me.
I remember the first time I went up to Kirkland to see him. And it was just nice just to be able to sit and talk. We played gin rummy every time I went. Whoever won was, the rummy champion of the world. When I was there, he tried to be very upbeat. But when he would come out, his eyes would be just rimmed with black. And I knew he was living in hell.
I actually got the case because a private investigator who I've worked with on a number of other cases of thought that Wes had been wrongfully convicted and asked if I would get on the case. Truthfully, I didn't enter it with a sense of skepticism. I reviewed many cases, and truthfully, I take very few. But this was a family who felt very strongly that their son was wrongfully convicted of a crime that he didn't commit. So I met with them, I reviewed the files, I went and talked with Wes on a number of occasions. I hired a private investigator to look into facility allegations, and eventually I became convinced myself that according to the state law enforcement division, they did what they call microscopic hair analysis, which is somebody looks at the hair in the microscope, then they look at a sample of Wes Meyers' hair and said they thought the hairs were consistent. Since then, the hair has been tested through DNA evidence and has been conclusively determined to not be Mr. Meyers' hair. In addition to that, there was a bloody dollar bill found in her jeans pockets. And the DNA expert was able to conclusively testify that the source of the DNA, the male DNA on the dollar bill, was the blood that was on it. And the blood was not Mr. Meyers' blood. So you have male DNA on a bloody dollar bill found in the victim's back pocket, which wasn't Mr. Meyers, it belonged to someone else. The evidence that he did take confession is virtually non-existent. Other than Mr. Olavo, there's no one who can put Wes near the scene that night. His mother, who was, people might be skeptical of his mother was a very credible person. She was a school principal in the area for many years. She insisted that Wes never left the home. There's no physical evidence at all. No fingerprints, no DNA, no hair, no fiber that links Wes to the suspect. The physical evidence which does exist suggests that he's not the perpetrator.
So like, you see where it's saying something like so close and yet so far away. And, for instance, my case got overturned by Judge Dennis. I'm going, yay, I'm going to be home soon. It took the state Supreme Court 3 years to write one line affirming Judge Dennis's sentence. I stayed in prison 3 years waiting for that. And why did it take
I'm down again.
I love cooking.
I like you. Both of us have that in common, that we both love to eat. I never ever saw myself with a young man. It's happened, and it's really wonderful for me because he's a wonderful person. Wes and I played cards, and we always kept score, and I always took the scorecard home with me, and somewhere in a box in my closet I've got all of them, but this is one of them from February the 25th, 2012, towards the end, before he got out of prison. I realized how deeply I felt about him. After he got out, everything just really fell into place.
It's just been a long time.
I think everyone's going to extract after this. Getting a little bit tougher.
They have hardened me. I have a hard time signing my name to anything.
That's the last of them. Objective is secure. Let's go home.
Wow. If we all would have stayed till rank 20, wave 20, weapons would have been max already.
I'm not a number.
Alright, again, same grind.
Do with the fire. I didn't see the gas can. I didn't touch the gas can.
Oh, we're going to do the alert.
school with her, so I've known her 40 years. Karen was very trusting, very outgoing, very friendly to everybody. She loved her kids. She spent a lot of time with them, played games with them.
My daughter was my whole life. Both my kids were. I was especially close to Robin. We were inseparable. I remember we used to play this little mailbox game. We would leave different little love notes to each other, and she'd say, "Mail lady here for you." And Robin was attached to my hip until she was like 13 years old.
Couldn't find anyone with the alert, so went with the regular defense.
I was there with my family. I got up that morning, had coffee with my husband, as we always did, and just sat and watched the news. And I started doing laundry. We were going to go on vacation. Robin, my daughter, was upstairs. I heard her wake up and start walking around. I went out the front door. So I got in my truck and I went to my husband, Wayne, his body shop, which is about 45 seconds away. I left from there and
She got there right before 9 o'clock. She didn't want to do it. Then we drove to Grand Rapids. We went to a Payless shoe store and we looked at the sign and it said didn't open until 10. It was 9:30. So then we were going to leave and go to the mall. We were pulling out of the driveway and we got a phone call saying there was a fire at her house.
Hello, 911. I guess I was dealing right now. I'm driving to work and I see a house moving from the top. When I didn't see that, I just see that as I'm on the road. It's going with the burgundy siding on it. We'll get to see out there.
we immediately turned around. I just couldn't believe my ears, what I was hearing. My son had started there, and my daughter was in the house. I felt like I was, I had to get there as quick as I could.
All additional Zealand City personnel report directly to the scene.
We pulled up to the scene. She jumped out of the car and started running towards the house. Wayne said, "No, Karen, don't go there." Pulled her away.
Damn, just need one more kill while sliding. Oh, look at all these guys shoot.
Sheer pain of knowing that my daughter. They finally gave me a shot of Valium and set me in. A short time later that my daughter came along the stretcher. That was the end of her little life.
Continue to defend. You were
When I arrived,
rewarded for
my
your
father's
bravery.
department was already on scene. All Township Station 3.
Come on!
I was tasked with a thermal imaging camera to go upstairs and enter the residence to look for hotspots. Proceeded up through the stairway. Under the building's playground. There was a lot of debris on the floor. I proceeded to look for hotspots. When I did that, I found eventually turned around and I asked my father, I said, hey, look at this, and he told me to throw it up. Something went up in a flag in my head, and I thought that that was not the best idea, so I put it right back at my feet where I found it. Then I called for sheriff to come into the house and take a look at it. It's just not normal to have a gas can. If you're calling in a fire investigator, you have some suspicion that it might be arson.
Never would think in a million years that this would happen. I'm not sure who came. Some police officer came, and then Karen took a few of us away and said that it's rumored that Robin committed suicide. She was very distraught. They questioned me like 10:30 that night of the fire. First they thought Robin did it. Karen thought it was, accidental. Robin did it. And then the next day I hear that they were looking at her as the suspect.
Found the gas can in the bedroom. There was evidence of an arson by an accelerant that caused the fire to burn their house down. So what happened? There's a reason to want to know what happened, and her daughter's passed away. Did Robin do this herself? Well, what do you know, Karen? Interestingly enough, on July 30, the day that Robin was found, Karen was interviewed briefly by way of, and it was recorded audio cassette.
Yeah, I want to apologize for the
And Detective Harris from State Police was talking to her and mentioned something about the gas can. And Karen said, you didn't find it in your bedroom, did you? That was not told to her. Karen volunteered that, and certainly that's where the gas can was found.
I went down to the police station to write a statement. They told me they wanted to find out what happened to my daughter. And they said that's what you want to, and absolutely that's all I wanted was to find out what happened to my dear daughter. And then we're going to figure this out together.
Well, I believe that's when she was interrogated. I don't know how many hours. It was unreal. Over 10 hours.
Voluntarily, her husband brought her home. No indication she was interviewing things of alcohol. There's no indication she was under investigation.
They started questioning her, and she didn't have a lawyer.
They gave me a polygraph test for a length of time. Then they pulled me out, and he asked me how I thought I did, and I said, I have no doubt, that I passed with flying colors, There was no doubt in my mind whatsoever. I had nothing to hide.
And it wasn't until the polygraph was being administered that...
Oh man, almost max fun.
He told me that I failed miserably on the polygraph test. I just couldn't believe my ears. And they brought me back into an interrogation room and started questioning me.
Knowing the things that we know on the scene and the evidence that was collected, and I know you know more about the fire. I know you were there. I just want you to try to think.
Let's see if I can do this by myself.
It's only going to go away when you're able to talk about this. Did you do something to try to get you upset that morning? This is all going to be better once you're able to talk about it. And that you want to talk about it, and you want to talk about it. There's just something in the way, right?
Yes, it is, because I don't have
There is a prisoner here.
Oh, okay,
Vital
there
to
we
our
go.
operations. Search for the holding location.
I don't know.
Okay, I can believe that. Okay. That you really don't know exactly how it started, and it got out of hand before you were able
Keep
to.
moving. None of the scanners have detected you.
But we can get help. We can help you.
Fine, get me help.
But before that can happen, you have to talk to us. You have to tell us. You remember things right before and you remember things right after. I need to know. I need you to fill in the
Without
middle.
rescuing the prisoner, keep searching.
I know somewhere in your heart you know what happened here. The machine really doesn't lie. It's just a machine. It has no reason to lie. It just tells certain things.
You're at sensors now. You've been detected.
I don't think for 1 minute she walked into that room, she thought she was a suspect in the death of her daughter. In this area, people have a high regard for police authority, and she felt like I have to do what these folks tell me I need to do.
You said that you would ask about me, and I got here about half an hour ago.
I apparently did it.
Matt, I just want to listen and just talk to her a little?
Chief Foley he was our neighbor. Our kids went to school together. I babysat his children. We went to church together. They weren't like super close as close friends, but
They've brought in
very well
reinforcements.
acquainted. We knew each other with I thought growing up. I really had a lot of trust in him.
You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence. The bypass is done. Go. The hostage is almost out of time. Hurry. The captive will be in one of these cells. Search them.
At least you got more than we did because you were there.
You look at statements that are made to her during the course of the interview, and it was things, we just want to let you get home, and assuming you answer these questions, and the number of times that she denied any involvement, any knowledge of anything that happened to the daughter that day, yet they would not let that be the answer.
I don't think for a moment
The alarm has triggered a burst.
this is something
I thought I was going to die in there. Thank you.
Subject found. You need to bring the captive to safety. Protect them at all
remembering
times.
something, otherwise you gotta
They told her that she flunked her lie detector test, and after a while, you just, start doubting yourself.
You've got to have some detail. That's why
Doors are locked.
Is the
I don't know any detail because I don't know if I did it. Okay? I don't have it in my mind at all that I did it. And I think of that. And I know how to look at that.
That she was trying to tell them everything she possibly knew and every stupid detail that she could come up with.
You got a guy in a fight, she told, I guess. She told me, what are you going to do?
No, I'm just saying, my man. Okay.
It was just almost like a conspiracy from the very first. It was Karen. Gas can had been missing.
Oh yeah, that was good.
And they didn't know where it was.
Some boys started playing in the backyard. A couple weeks before the fire that took my daughter's life, we found sort of like a campfire in our backyard. We just noticed that there was firewood, piled up back there. There was like 3 little logs. They were partially burned.
All right, back to the same grind. Back to the same grind.
At that point, we just looked all over the place for the gas can. Could not find it anywhere.
So you see the gas can there, and you get pissed because she was hiding it all around. You confront her with that, right?
I did not. No.
No. So what happened?
I thought it was very, very poor timing on their part to put a person who was very emotionally fragile in a situation of having to discuss issues related to the death of her daughter.
At the end of the day, it was quite late.
The enemy is at our doorstep.
I felt so hopeless.
You must defend our equipment
alone.
until reinforcements
It
arrive.
was just an emotional mess.
I know for a fact, because she told me, I never in my wildest dreams thought that I was answering questions from them.
They put different scenarios out there for me and had me repeat them back to them like I'm in this dream state.
I think maybe the thing we gotta think about is if you did dream about this, how would it happen? I'll say what it did, but if you did dream...
Nope, this person just trolled.
Can't remember a specific.
As I said, finally, if you're not sure, then maybe in your dreams could it have happened?
Let's try something in a dream for a while. How did it work its way through?
She was, so upset that they ended up bringing her to Holland Hospital psych ward.
I didn't feel like living anymore. I knew that if I went home, I was going to commit suicide.
Come on.
People don't ever want to believe that someone would confess to something they didn't do. Well, the real problem with that is people confess to things they didn't do all the time. Imagine the feeling you have driving down the freeway and you look behind you and there's a police car behind you with its lights on pulling you over. We all panic. I mean, we have that anxiety and that stress of an encounter with the police, and you're accused of speeding. Now imagine a police officer telling you, we think you set your daughter's bedroom on fire, burned your house down, and killed your daughter on purpose. Police officers prey on that natural stress and anxiety.
Knowing the things that we know on the scene and the evidence that was collected, and I know you know more about the fire. I know you were there. I just want you to try to think.
Police officers target those weaknesses.
My 3 weapons is already maxed at level 30, or rank 30 I should say. Now it's just a Warframe to get rank 30.
You want to talk about it, and you want to tell us about it.
think it was 3 or 4 different people ended up asking her questions, and it was.
Well, we're doing all the crazy killing is doing all the work, so I'm just going to stand up here.
They told her they found evidence of gas on her shoes, on her clothes, fingerprints on the gas can.
Kind of takes the fun out of it, but hey, you know.
You got the fire that started probably when you were there. People, women pushed you there around 8:55, 8:50, around there. And then they got more. They got a search warrant. I'm telling you, so you don't think I'm BSing you. It's time to tell the truth. Now it's going to tell the truth.
She's told things that were simply not true about things that her husband was saying or other family was saying.
Another opportunity to extract will appear soon.
What's happened now? He knows that you haven't passed this test by your own admission. I just showed him, you know, the charts. Look at here, look what's happening. At some point, he has to start wondering about what's going to happen next.
In Karen's case, they were talking to her again about what if you were sleepwalking or what if this happened in a dream. It's bizarre.
Karen, I understand that you're scared to tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened. You're unconscious mind.
What's your unconscious mind?
How am I supposed to know that?
And ultimately, after working on them and breaking them down psychologically, you get the suspect to a point where they understand they're not getting out of this. They can admit to killing someone on purpose, or maybe it was an accident.
And like I said, there's 2 choices here, and I'll leave it right now. Either you did this on purpose, you planned it, you told the other, or you did it by mistake. And I think it's the second one.
Okay, I did it by mistake. I know I ain't done it on purpose, but I do not know how I did it, okay?
All of these red flags where we talk about these are the dangers of potential false confession. Almost all of them are present in Karen's case.
This case was as big as it gets. This was for all the marbles. This was, did Karen do it? Why did she do it? What evidence do we have that she did do it? And Robin deserved to have all the facts laid out.
It is ultimately for the jury to decide whether Karen was involved in the intentional setting of a fire which resulted in the death of her daughter. It's a connect-the-dot case for them.
That was a close one.
That every single dot followed correctly, okay? That, you know, this fact caused this event. But in our system of justice, if you're convinced that there's 2 valid explanations for the same event, that's reasonable doubt.
I told him I knew about the trial. I watched the news before I went. Kind of heard the whole story, but didn't hear too much. I was the last one selected. I do know that. I do remember that too. I was kind of hoping not to, but I was the last one selected.
I didn't really know the role of the courtroom that well. It was my first experience ever being in a courtroom. I remember it started with the prosecuting attorney coming up, because the prosecutor goes first.
This fire was an intentionally set fire fueled by a liquid accelerant gasoline that was started outside of Robin's bedroom, and that Robin could not have started the fire. Really, we had a lot of information, and it all had to be presented because I knew, the investigative team knew, that unless this case was presented pretty much airtight, it was not going to result in a conviction. 1 week after Robin's death, she told her husband there were times that I hated her. She treated me like
It was very, I don't know how to say it, it was a very surreal thing. You didn't expect somebody to hit the nail on the head that hard to say directly, you know, those words.
The prosecution made up the story. To me, the whole presentation is just
We're
like
done
a
here. The
horse and
extraction
pony
team
show.
will take over from here. Time
It
to
was
evacuate.
just there to make things look extreme.
They played up this, the issue between the daughter and the mom having some, you know, friction.
We found out that Karen and Robin.
All right, I'm going to stop here
That Karen
for now.
didn't like
Really
her, and she
sleepy.
hated her.